A girl is forced to marry a war maniac, but unexpectedly becomes the family's precious treasure after marriage. The Duke showers her with love from above. "I can't live without you." While two children cling to her left and right, now she can never escape. What to do? 10 years ago, the Emperor arranged a marriage between a Duke's daughter and a war hero, but her father only told Elsa about this the month before the wedding. She heard that the Grand Duke was a cold-blooded war maniac who showed no mercy on the battlefield, freezing everyone into ice sculptures at the slightest disagreement. There were even rumors that he killed his own brother to fight for the position of family head, having to marry such a dangerous person, even though she was completely unwilling. Her family just turned a deaf ear, because compared to her marriage, they cared more about Karen's birthday. After all, to them, she was dispensable from the start. When she was a child and had a high fever of 39 degrees, everyone in the mansion was busy preparing Karen's birthday party. Her flushed little face could only force a smile. She held back tears and quietly returned to her bedroom, tucking herself into bed, only daring to sob softly once she was under the covers. The Duke never threw her a birthday party, simply because that day was also the anniversary of the former Duchess's death. Since birth, she had always curled up in corners, living alone, slowly, as if playing a game of not disturbing others. After her father's second marriage, Karen was born within a year. The mother and daughter's constant sarcasm and endless mockery had long become routine for Elsa, until today she was getting married. As soon as she got out of the carriage, she gave the butler goosebumps. In -80-degree weather, she just came wearing slippers, looking so delicate. Before she could even enter, two kids gave her a warning. Elsa claimed to be the Grand Duke's fiancé. The brothers were shocked. They had never heard that the Grand Duke was getting married, and even if he were, it couldn't possibly be someone like you. Elsa frowned. "Do I really look that suspicious?" The older brother called her a liar and told her to get lost. The girl never expected to encounter such a situation right upon arrival. "Let's calm down and talk. Could you put away that dangerous magic? How could a noble duke's daughter be afraid of magic?" Elsa was at a loss for words. "I'm indeed not particularly familiar with magic, but I really am the Grand Duke's fiancée, the daughter of Duke Sorenberg. I'm really not lying. By the way, who are you two?" The brothers were shocked again. "You don't recognize us?" The butler introduced them. "These are the former Grand Duke's two sons, Master Wilbert and Master Hugh." Elsa finally realized the Grand Duke had adopted his nephews, meaning she was these children's stepmother. Suddenly, magic grazed her face. The brothers realized they had caused trouble. Blood gradually seeped from Elsa's face, and before she could react, she suddenly felt a sharp pain. This was too thrilling. But why did the two kids look more scared than she was? Just one look scared Hugh into hiccups, and he quickly clutched his brother's armpit. Wilbert immediately protected his younger brother. Elsa quickly understood that the older brother was so guarded against her to protect his younger brother. Even though he was scared himself, he stood in front of his brother, which reminded her of her own helplessness as a child. She approached and crouched down. "I'm sorry, did I scare you? This is our first meeting. I'm Elsa. Could you tell me your names?" Hugh stopped crying and wasn't afraid anymore, and the two stared straight at each other. "Wilbert, and this is my younger brother Hugh." Elsa smiled brightly. "Please give me more guidance." Hugh reached out his little hand, pointing to the wound on her face. Elsa smiled and wiped away the blood. "Don't worry about it, it's just a scrape. It'll heal quickly." Wilbert suddenly grabbed her and shouted, "No!" She was stunned. The boy realized his rudeness, blushed, and quietly apologized, then asked Elsa to come in. "I'll help treat your wound." The girl, who felt warm 1 second, had her heart sink the next. The bandaging was a bit too excessive. The young master's mother had a weak constitution, and would often be bedridden from minor injuries. "Please understand, the marriage between you two should have been announced to the young masters after the Grand Duke's return. But since the expedition lasted longer than expected, we received word that you would visit during the new year." But her family had urged her to marry into the Grand Duke's house before the year ended. His Grace is very concerned about the two young masters, but war is unpredictable, and the border between the two countries remains unstable. Previously, there were the old master and mistress, but recently, due to health issues, they moved to a cold villa for recuperation. This was completely different from the rumors Elsa had heard in the capital. The girl suddenly had an inspiration, and quickly found the children. "From now on, we'll be family." Wilbert told her she didn't need to please them. She could do whatever she wanted. Hugh secretly peeked out, then quickly hid when she turned around. Just as cold as she had imagined, but she wouldn't give up so easily. But after several days, even though she was exhausted, she couldn't close the distance. They even sat far away during meals, clearly avoiding her. It seemed she needed to change her strategy. Step 1. Find out their preferences. Wilbert was picky about food, and while Hugh ate anything, he never revealed his preferences. After asking around, the children seemed to have no close friends, and no one knew what they liked. It turned out they were guarded not just against her, but against everyone. Elsa could completely understand their feelings. Suddenly, a shadowy, burly man appeared behind her. All the servants in this house were so strong, they probably took after their master. The man was the head chef here. Master Wilbert used to love carrot cake, but ever since Lady Clara passed away, the young master won't eat it anymore. That day, Elsa came to pester them as usual. Wilbert impatiently drove her away. "I have nothing to say to you." Seeing his terrible complexion, Elsa reached out with concern. "You're still young, don't push yourself too hard." But he slapped her hand away roughly. "Get away! Don't interfere! I'm the future Grand Duke. Studying hard is only natural. What right does a naive lady who can't even use magic have to lecture me?" After saying this, Elsa turned and closed the door. The proud older brother huffed. As expected, that woman was just like everyone else, only offering superficial flattery. But unexpectedly, she returned excitedly just moments later. The older brother was startled. It was carrot cake! Just as he was about to say something sharp and bitter, the rich aroma wafted over. "Try it. Even just one bite is fine." Wilbert hesitated, but couldn't resist in the end. He took a small bite, and with his proud little expression, Elsa watched with great interest. Then the boy started on the next piece, putting piece after piece into his mouth. Though embarrassed, he couldn't resist that taste. "Looks like you really like it." The older brother immediately denied it. He just found it somewhat familiar. Elsa chuckled. The cake just now was baked according to the method from the Luswar region. The boy didn't understand why, until he heard, "That's Lady Clara's hometown." The older brother instantly became docile. When Elsa asked if she had recreated the taste from his memories, she was unexpectedly denied. Mother's cakes were always dry and had a bitter taste. They were never this delicious. She had never cooked before, but to make me eat properly, she worked hard to learn how to make cakes for me. Elsa softly comforted. "I think she must have loved Master Wilbert very much." The older brother trembled with anger. "Why is yours so delicious?" She was even a bit embarrassed by the praise. "Maybe because winter carrots are sweeter? Strange. Clearly you're a duke's daughter who can't use magic, yet you know recipes from the borderlands." Elsa felt it wasn't appropriate to tell a child. It's from past experiences. Hearing about it might make you feel bad. "Don't treat me like a child. I'm the next Grand Duke." For a moment, Elsa's expression darkened. "My mother died when I was born, so I have no memories of her. The person who stayed by my side in Mother's place was Mother's childhood housekeeper. Marcia told me many stories about Mother's past, so I wanted to understand the things Mother liked. Researching cultures and recipes from all over the world was also for this reason. That's how I learned this carrot cake recipe." The older brother didn't understand. "Couldn't you just have the servants make such things?" Elsa forced a cheerful pat on herself. "Everyone has their own work to do. I can't trouble them because of my selfishness. There are no tutors arranged at home, and I don't have classes, so I'm quite free." The older brother hit the nail on the head. "You're probably being neglected by your family, but I still couldn't recreate the taste from your memories. I'm sorry." The boy finally let down his guard. "Don't apologize. Make cakes often from now on." Elsa was charmed by his cuteness. The older brother stubbornly added, "It's not that I want to eat them, I want my brother to try them too." The two had finally gotten a bit closer, but unexpectedly, the next day, the boy avoided her even more. Before she could finish greeting him, the older brother directly ignored her. No matter how she tried to start conversations afterward, the older brother would quickly flee the scene. Elsa had to accept reality. Things had come to this, so she should just stay put honestly. When passing the study room, harsh scolding echoed through the hallway. Looking through the door crack, she saw Master Hugh being criticized by a teacher for making no progress, and Hugh was too scared to say a word. But the teacher continued pressuring, "You won't even admit your mistakes. Your future is truly worrying. A waste who can't even speak properly. If you continue like this, you'll bring shame to the Grand Duke's family." Elsa was furious but held back. She was just an outsider. Going in would only make things worse. The teacher suddenly snatched the doll from his arms. Hugh watched tearfully as the teacher opened the window and threw it out. Helplessness and despair nearly filled his mind. She couldn't stand watching anymore. "You're the one who should reflect. This has nothing to do with parents or talent. He's 5 years old. Being unable to properly express his feelings or use magic excellently is perfectly normal. And you, who drove this child to desperation, are admitting your own incompetence. We don't need such incompetent teachers in our house. Please leave immediately." The man questioned who she was and told her to stop meddling. Elsa handed the doll to Hugh. "I am the Grand Duke's wife and the mother of these 2 children." Just then, the door suddenly opened, and all 3 looked behind them. It was actually the Grand Duke himself. Elsa froze in place, unable to recover from her shock for a long time. The man questioned, "Who are you?" The teacher frantically introduced himself. "Not you, I'm asking her." Elsa hesitated about whether to tell the truth. But did the Grand Duke know about the marriage? But she couldn't not answer the question either. She quickly raised her hand. "Good day, Your Grace. My name is Elsa." The man said nothing, just stared straight at her. The room fell silent. "Fortunately, Wilbert arrived in time. You're back?" he hummed in response, then turned around and continued questioning the girl. And then Elsa was at a loss and shot a pleading look at Wilbert for help. but the older brother blushed and actually turned away. Elsa stood there awkwardly. This was bad. She was being treated as completely suspicious. The two were at a standstill. What should she do? Looking at Hugh, his small body kept trembling, tears swirling in his eyes. Elsa made up her mind. Nice to meet you. I'm Elsa, daughter of Duke Sorenberg. I've come to visit as your Grace's future wife. I called myself your wife earlier because it was an emergency. Please forgive me. That gentleman just now was about to physically scold Master Hugh. The older brother flew into a rage after hearing this, and the Grand Duke also frowned. Not only did the man not admit it, but he also slandered the girl as a liar. This woman is the incompetent daughter known throughout the Empire who never received proper noble education. The man stared at her motionlessly, then brushed past her. Even here, no one was willing to believe her. But unexpectedly, the Grand Duke crouched in front of Hugh. Can you tell me what really happened? Hugh was too scared to speak. Who was lying? He clutched the doll tightly, gathered his courage, and pointed tremblingly at that man. Elsa was stunned. The man completely lost his composure but still tried to make excuses. In an instant, the man was frozen into an ice sculpture, and the entire room was covered with ice magic. The Grand Duke coldly questioned, and then Wilbert conjured ice crystals. What's wrong? Want to leave? Should I help you? The man was too scared to speak. The next second, he was grabbed roughly by the Grand Duke. Get out! Don't let me see you again! The man fled in disgrace. Elsa had finally witnessed it. This was the Grand Duke who froze everyone into ice sculptures regardless of friend or foe. Too terrifying. Then the Grand Duke bowed his head to apologize to her. Let's handle the formal matters first. The two had a lightning-fast wedding, just as she pushed open the door. The room was warm and cozy. The bride was lifted by magic, flying past all the guests to the groom's side. She never expected to one day look down at a tall man from above. The groom looked at her expressionlessly and extended his hand to her. Those broad, scarred hands somehow felt reassuring. Elsa gracefully descended from above. Under the priest's reading, the two swore before the bright sun to become husband and wife. After the ceremony ended, she needed to have a good talk with the Grand Duke. She didn't fully understand the wedding night procedures. The book said to leave everything to her husband. Cross that bridge when she came to it. But it wasn't supposed to be this direct. How did she end up pinning him down? The seemingly cold-blooded and ruthless war maniac was actually a pure, innocent rabbit. Just as she pinned down her innocent husband, the sons burst in. What are you two doing? The couple quickly separated. The older brother tilted his head in confusion, then suddenly had an inspiration. He grabbed Elsa's arm. Aren't you sleeping with us tonight? The girl was completely stunned. What was happening? The man was also bewildered. Then the older brother started acting. When the Grand Duke wasn't home, Lady Elsa would always accompany me, he shyly added, and Hugh, sleeping together. He secretly glanced behind him, sending signals to his brother. Hugh instantly understood and received the message. He rushed to Elsa and hugged her tightly, rubbing his shy little head against her. Elsa's heart fluttered from the cuteness, and the man was also quite surprised. Then the older brother stiffly lied. Hugh cried, saying he couldn't sleep without Elsa. Hugh immediately started whimpering. So Grand Duke, please don't drive Elsa away, just for Hugh's sake. Hugh quickly nodded. Only then did Elsa understand. The brothers thought they were fighting, and that the Grand Duke was going to drive her away. Elsa glanced at Rolf. That was the first time she saw the man's eyes no longer cold. I didn't expect they'd become so close. It's been a long time since I've seen the children this happy. All right then, tonight the four of us will sleep together. All three were instantly scared into ice sculptures. Why did it turn out like this? Just moments before, she had been obediently waiting for the Grand Duke. The man opened the bedroom door. What was meant to come had come. Elsa was so nervous her whole body went rigid. I'd appreciate it if you'd tell me more. But the man told her not to worry. He wouldn't do anything. I married you by His Majesty's command and will strive to fulfill my duties as a husband, respect your position as my wife, and guarantee your right to live freely. Elsa had thought he would be furious about this arranged marriage, and she had prepared herself for a storm. But he turned out to be so gentlemanly. Rolf made it clear that he currently had no plans to have children. Elsa smiled after hearing this. I understand. The Grand Duke's house already has Master Wilbert and Master Hugh. It's not just because of the two children. If you hope I'll have romantic feelings for you, I'm sorry, I can't do that, that's how it is. Excuse me. Then the man turned to leave. Speaking so bluntly was truly hurtful. Wait. She got up to block the man's path. Do you treat the children with this same attitude? Rolf was left speechless. Do you treat the children with this same work-like attitude too? I believe I've worked hard to fulfill my duties as a father. No, it's precisely because of this that incompetent tutors take advantage. The man was completely unable to refute and could only bow his head in silence. She wasn't trying to completely deny the Grand Duke's approach. It was just that the current environment, with no reliable adults to depend on and no close friends, was too harsh for the children. Do you know what's most important in raising children? Not just spiritual concepts like love and responsibility, but also sufficient physical strength, time, and a suitable environment. Even if you have no feelings for me, I am still the Grand Duke's wife. She suddenly moved closer. So I implore you to entrust the children to my care. The man grabbed her shoulders. Wait, but there was nowhere to retreat behind them, and the two fell down together. And so the opening scene occurred. Elsa deeply regretted being so rash. The older brother thought he had misheard and asked his father to confirm again. After getting a positive answer, mother and son broke out in cold sweats. The two sized each other up. The woman was a duke's daughter sent by the emperor. Until he knew her intentions, he couldn't let the children be alone with her. Is there any problem with 4 people sleeping together? Elsa looked down and noticed Hugh nodding off constantly. She decisively answered, no problem at all. She gently supported Hugh. Let's all sleep together. Hugh hugged his doll and nodded happily. So the 4 covered themselves with blankets, with the older brother lying on her right and Hugh sleeping on her left. Looks like he's exhausted. He fell asleep right away. The only thing that made her uncomfortable was that the man had been staring at her since earlier. So awkward. The older brother mumbled in his sleep and Elsa leaned in to listen. Don't drive her away. Both husband and wife were startled at the same time. Elsa felt touched. The rebellious older brother was actually worried about her. The man also found it incredible. I can't believe the difficult Wilbert cares about you so much. Elsa immediately retorted. Wilbert isn't difficult at all. He's desperately trying to grow up so as not to trouble you. For you to say that, could it be? Before she could finish, the man got angry. Are you saying I want to drive Wilbert away? Seeing the man react that way, Elsa instantly thought it made sense. No wonder the older brother felt insecure, but the man turned over and lay quietly without saying another word. Elsa trembled with fear. Such cold eyes. He must also be forced into this marriage by imperial decree. Carrying a burden like herself, of course he wouldn't be happy. Back when Rolf had just returned victorious from war, the emperor told him he had a marriage partner, then sent him to the neighboring country's border. He looked at Elsa, sat up and stared for a long time, then reached out his hand, placing it at her neck. As the pressure in his hand gradually increased, Elsa could barely breathe. She had no sense of caution at all. He could break her neck with just a little force. Hugh in his sweet dreams hummed softly, and only then did the man let go. Watching Hugh nestle into the girl's embrace, and Wilbert sleeping so peacefully on his side, the man fell into deep thought. He wasn't a good father, that was an undeniable fact. But as a Grand Duke, what could he do? Wilbert was born into a loving family, and his brother and sister-in-law were among the few family members who had given Rolf warmth. Waking up early, Elsa felt utterly exhausted. Had she not slept at all? She swayed as she got up, and suddenly sneezed. Wearing so little would indeed cause a cold, so she changed clothes. Suddenly someone in the room called Elsa's name. She hurried back, and happened to collide with the older brother who was anxiously looking for her. She bounced back like a water drop. The little couple looked at each other, and the man's expression instantly became gentle. Good morning, my lady. The brother's efforts hadn't been in vain after all. Elsa breathed a sigh of relief. Finally, she didn't have to die. The next second, her stomach growled loudly. The family of 4 looked at each other. It wasn't the older brother or Elsa, so all 3 looked at Hugh, who hadn't spoken. Hugh embarrassedly covered his stomach. Elsa quickly covered for him. It must be me, I'm so hungry. Yes, let's have breakfast first. After eating, Rolf spoke up. Let's establish some rules. Elsa agreed. We must discuss Master Wilbert's picky eating later. First, about our living arrangements. Halfway through speaking, Elsa suddenly sneezed. The butler thoughtfully brought over a scarf. Rolf suggested, let's start with clothing and daily life. The older brother decided to accompany her, and Hugh quickly raised his hand too. Perhaps due to cultural differences, Elsa's fashion sense wasn't great. They had no idea what she was thinking. Elsa quickly explained, those weren't my preferences. They were made by my stepmother with famous designers in the capital. The brothers' subtle expressions said it all. In the end, they decided to go shopping together. Elsa changed into a red dress, and Hugh's eyes immediately lit up when he saw her. The older brother muttered quietly, she's actually quite pretty when dressed up properly. Elsa was surprised. Are you complimenting me? The proud older brother immediately bristled. Clothes make the person. Rolf also thought it looked good. In that case, let's pick out several more. Elsa was completely stunned. She changed into an elegant and dignified court dress, then into cute, fresh winter wear. The clothes they bought piled up like mountains. Even wearing different outfits every day, she couldn't finish them all in one winter. But the man simply couldn't stop. Hugh tugged at her sleeve, turning to look. My goodness, there was still a full long row. The older brother called her to look over here. Another 2 long rows. Wearing these would make you a graceful and elegant lady. The competition for favor was about to break out. But fortunately, Rolf intervened. You two shouldn't make things too difficult for her. The brothers had to give up, and Elsa breathed a long sigh of relief. Just buy all of these too. No need to fight over them. Elsa was scared into having tiny dot eyes. The brothers hit it off immediately. Just as she was about to say it was wasteful, Rolf brought up rule number 1. Acknowledge Elsa as the Grand Duke's wife, and make efforts to communicate with and respect her opinions. But Elsa should also fulfill her responsibilities as the Grand Duke's wife. When I'm not home, you'll manage household affairs. You'll also have opportunities to attend social occasions. Please handle them well. Elsa had to accept. The man found her strange. Her attitude toward money wasn't like a duke's daughter at all, and her emotions were surprisingly easy to read. Everything was rather unconventional. Elsa tilted her head in confusion. What's wrong with you? Suddenly making eye contact, he pretended to be calm and looked away. Nothing. Let's go look at hats next. After trying on outfit after outfit, the four practically monopolized the entire shopping district, shopping until nightfall before heading home. But as soon as they opened the door, they encountered an unwelcome visitor. You're so slow, sister. Then she complained on her own. Your taste is still the same. Seeing something nice, she reached out to grab it. Elsa blocked her with her hand. Karen, don't touch things randomly. Why not? Elsa warned. These are all gifts from the Grand Duke to me. It's different from being at home. Also, you hate me so much, yet you came all this way. What do you want? The younger sister continued playing dumb. I was worried about you, so I came to see you. I heard the Grand Duke ignored you for a whole month. It's the talk of the entire capital. That was a communication error. Karen smiled provocatively. By the way, have you been taking your magic enhancement potions on time? After Elsa's engagement to the Grand Duke, her family had her take them, but they never had any effect. Karen mockingly smiled. You need to work harder. If you keep being a burden, you'll get thrown out. How strange, did you come all this way just to mock me? Karen put on her fake saint act again. I want to borrow some money, Elsa told her to ask their father. But she got angry. Your lovely little sister is asking for something. Just lend it to me obediently. The jewelry she had just bought was scattered all over the floor. Hey, I'm in trouble now. Help me out, sister. We're family, right? She snorted coldly. Family? That's right, family. She had indeed once tried hard to become family with them, but they never treated her as family. The day before the ball, Karen had opened her closet without permission and taken out the dress her mother had left behind. Even though she was unwilling, her stepmother forcibly took it. This belongs to the Sornberg Duke's house. From that moment, Elsa saw clearly Karen's other face, so I can wear this dress too. With her mother backing her up, Karen left triumphantly, leaving behind one last sentence. Karen is her only beloved daughter. The sister who had never treated her as family now came asking for 10 gold coins. No, Karen laughed. You don't even have the right to freely spend 10 gold coins? Then 5. When she noticed the jewelry on the ground, she bent down to pick it up. I'll use this then. Elsa was firm. Don't touch it. Karen was first startled, then arrogantly stepped on the necklace. Then, sister, hurry up and pick it up for me. She increased the pressure. And seeing Elsa unmoved, she laughed even more wildly. Hey, won't you pick it up? This completely enraged Elsa, and she strode toward Karen, slapping her across the face. Her face quickly swelled up painfully. You seem unable to understand what I'm saying. This is special jewelry the Grand Duke prepared for me as his wife, and you ignored my warning and touched it carelessly. How rude. Karen tearfully covered her face. You really think you're the Grand Duke's wife now, when you're clearly just a useless decorative vase? Elsa admitted, that's right, I'm indeed not very good at using magic, and I lack knowledge and experience. But unlike you all, the people in this house respect me and entrusted me with educating the adopted sons. Since it was entrusted to me, I should live up to expectations and do my utmost. So I can't lend money to you, who insults the Grand Duke's house. Karen was utterly humiliated. Elsa slowly walked to the door and rang the bell, instructing move her luggage to the guest room in the servants' quarters. Seeing Karen continue to make unreasonable demands, she looked at her disdainfully. Do you want to sleep on the streets? The defeated Karen finally backed down and angrily slammed the door as she left. Elsa picked up the jewelry from the floor. Family? She didn't know if they truly accepted her. The warm scenes from during the day floated through her mind, and she smiled warmly. Keep going. Just then the door opened, and Hugh cautiously peeked out his head. To protect his family, the mute son spoke for the first time. With a gentle wave of his hand, he instantly froze the entire city. All those who bullied his mother were trapped in silver-blue cages. When he couldn't speak yet, he could only gesture with his little hands. But Elsa always understood immediately. Can't find your doll? He nodded, using body language to describe what happened. Seeing Elsa looking confused, Hugh broke out in anxious sweat. He pointed to the pile of gifts. On the carriage ride home, he was still dozing. It probably got mixed in with my luggage then. Hugh nodded excitedly. I see! Let's look for it together. After opening everything, they still didn't find it. They searched the entire mansion with the servants, not even sparing under tables. Even by nightfall, they hadn't found the doll. Elsa looked out the window. It was snowing heavily outside. Seeing her shiver, Hugh had a flash of inspiration, ran off, then came back carrying a fluffy coat, draping it over Elsa and putting a warm hat on her. Elsa was deeply moved. Master Hugh, thank you. She pulled Hugh into her embrace. Hugh also blushed shyly, though she had noticed from their first meeting that Master Hugh was different from Master Wilbert. Upon closer observation, they were exactly the same in being very considerate. Both were smart and warm children. But why couldn't Master Hugh speak? What could she do for him? Hugh wriggled a bit. Let's find the doll first. The two came outside. Master Hugh can't catch cold, so you stay here. She stepped into the snow, and with a thump, slipped and fell flat. Hugh quickly ran over to brush the snow off her. Just then, she suddenly noticed a little snowman in the snow. Found it! We found it right after coming out. How wonderful! But it's all wet. Hugh picked up the snow ferret doll and ran, reaching toward the fireplace, nearly getting burned by flying sparks. Elsa quickly grabbed Hugh and pulled him back. That was close. It almost got burned. It's soaked through. If we leave it alone, the doll might be ruined. He looked so dejected. It must be something very important. Elsa extended her palm, and warm points of light flowed from her palm. Thinking she could do it, starlight scattered around her body. Warm breath wafted over. Elsa carefully warmed the snow ferret. I can use magic too, though just a little. Hugh opened his little mouth wide in surprise. I thought my magic power would at least increase a bit, but it's still the same. But fortunately, the snow ferret is back to normal. Hugh happily hugged the snow ferret doll and nuzzled it. Great, I helped a little. Though I'm a duke's daughter, I'm surprisingly bad at magic. But precisely because of this, I know to make my own effort. Warm magic enveloped Hugh's entire body. She smiled gently. Hugh felt the warmth and looked blissfully happy. It's almost dinner time. Please keep the doll safe in your room and don't lose it. Hugh had barely run far when he stopped, then came pattering back. He stretched out his little hand, gesturing for her to crouch down. Elsa crouched down curiously, and saw him smile shyly, open his little mouth wide, and give her a quick kiss on the cheek. Then he put his hands behind his back and grinned bashfully. Elsa's heart melted completely. This was too unfair. She felt so happy, like her chest was filled to the brim. Suddenly, a door creaked in the distance, and Hugh quickly hid behind her. But nothing appeared. He poked at Elsa, trembling with fear as he mimicked a monster. Elsa comforted him not to be afraid. There were no monsters. Seeing he was still scared, Elsa ruffled his hair and said, Long ago, I always wanted a friend to play with. I thought even if it were a monster, I'd want to be friends with it. I stayed up all night, and tried strange spells too, but I never once saw a monster. Hugh looked skeptical. So it's fine. With that, she turned the door handle, see? Hugh and the ferret turned pale with fright. What's wrong? Looking back, her sister had suddenly appeared behind them. Karen stared darkly at the two of them. Hugh backed away warily. Elsa hurried to explain. Master Hugh, this person is my sister. She was worried about me, so she came to check on me. Karen, say hello, but she remained unmoved. Instead, she reached out toward Elsa, releasing rose magic from her palm. The roses grew rapidly, and thorny vines all shot toward Elsa. Hugh was about to run, but was blocked by them. Don't move! What do you want? Karen was completely desperate. I need money, get it ready now! Why? She screamed in breakdown. It doesn't concern you at all! You seem to have forgotten that you're a useless burden. You've been dragging everyone down, so you should finally be useful now. Elsa told her not to act like this in front of the children. Karen laughed contemptuously. Even your real family has abandoned you. What kind of house-playing game are you still playing? Elsa felt a sharp pain in her heart. Hugh shook his head with tears in his eyes. Ridiculously, she indeed couldn't refute it. That's right, never mind, mother. Even father who shares your blood doesn't care about you. Hugh choked with anger, slowly uttering the word no from his mouth. The Duke only married you because he didn't dare defy the Emperor. No one in this world truly needs you should thank me. Hugh finally couldn't suppress his anger anymore, roaring at the woman that's not true. He quickly ran over, standing in front of Elsa. Elsa is my family. No one expected that Master Hugh would actually speak. If this is your family, then I'm also your family. I'm in big trouble now, can you help me? Hugh shook his head vigorously. You bullied my important family member. You're not family, I hate you. Karen smiled triumphantly. I hate you too. The moment she struck at him, Elsa blocked the vines. How dare you harm someone from the Duke's household? The woman showed disdain, who told me my opponents are a child who can barely speak clearly and a burden. They can be slaughtered at will. Do you want to resist? Can someone as useless as you even do that? Elsa protected Hugh, grabbing the thorny vines with one hand. It's all right, I won't let her touch Master Hugh even once. You spoke up for me, I'm very happy. Hugh's eyes overflowed with tears. The woman launched her attack. Then let me give you a taste of suffering. In an instant, all the vines rushed toward her. Hugh shouted, no! Instantly, the entire room was frozen in ice crystals. Only Elsa remained unharmed. Karen was trapped embarrassingly in a blue-silver cage. At this moment, the Duke and the eldest son also rushed over. Hugh mustered courage to speak. I can speak clearly. Then he released ice crystals into the air, replaying the scene that had just occurred, using magic to recreate the events for father. This person did bad things to Elsa and me, she's a bad person. The woman trapped in the blue-silver cage roared angrily. Don't talk nonsense! the man pointed with his finger, instantly sealing Karen's mouth. Don't interrupt Hugh's words. Elsa warned her cousin. It's painful when others don't listen to you, isn't it? If you become our enemy now, do you know what your fate will be? Karen still struggled dishonestly. Make any more noise and I'll seal your nose too. Seeing this, she finally became obedient. After arresting her, the man looked at Hugh. Well done. That was the first time father had praised him. Elsa also bent down to thank him. Thank you for saving me. Also, that's wonderful. She gently hugged Hugh tight. You can finally speak out loud. Hugh was hugged so tight he could barely breathe. The older brother quickly pulled her away. Don't bring that ugly face close to Hugh. Brother was equally excited. Hugh, you're very handsome. Whether it's being able to speak or using magic to protect Elsa, both are worthy of pride. Hugh, having gained his family's recognition, was deeply moved. And despite unclear pronunciation, the words thank you could still be heard. The long-missed voice made the older brother unable to stop his joy. Elsa watched this heartwarming scene. This is really wonderful, the servant cried while thanking the lady. When she was organizing the things she had bought, she discovered Master Hugh was missing. Just as she was about to look for him, she didn't expect such a thing to happen. It's all thanks to Madam. Master must be very happy too. Elsa stole a glance at Rolf, but saw his face was heavy with concern. How to put it, rather than happy, he seemed more burdened. Suddenly he walked toward her with big strides. Bowing deeply, thank you. Elsa quickly waved her hands. It's nothing. I didn't really do much either, but I did frighten him. That's right, you indeed didn't do much. But you were also frightened, weren't you? Thank you for protecting my son while you were afraid. Then he took Elsa's hand, using healing magic on the scar in her palm. Thanks to you, I heard Hugh's voice again after so long. That nostalgic, warm voice. It turned out he was happy. Not because Master Hugh could use magic to recount events. From this perspective, the Grand Duke was more like Master Wilbert and Master Hugh's real father. Then what did that expression from earlier mean? At this moment, the sound of a growling stomach rang out again. The three of them looked at Hugh in unison. He shyly covered his mouth. I'm hungry. The Duke spoke gently. We haven't had dinner yet. Let's go quickly. Although Hugh was a bit shy, he ate much more than usual. Perhaps before he couldn't express himself well, so he was always being polite. Just as she was about to return to her room, she ran into the older brother at the door. Lady Elsa, she awkwardly drifted past, saying you don't need to force yourself to add honorifics like lady. Then Elsa, I want to talk to you about Hugh. What's wrong? Actually, Hugh often has nightmares and seems to have trouble sleeping. But when we all sleep together, he sleeps very soundly. Perhaps when he's with Elsa, he feels at ease. So could you sleep with him? Elsa hugged the older brother. I understand. Thank you for entrusting me with this. Inside the room, Hugh sat hugging his knees in a daze. At this moment, there was a knock on the door. He immediately got up from bed. Seeing it was Elsa, he instinctively went to greet her. After coming to his senses, he didn't know what to say. Master Hugh, haven't you fully recovered yet? Master Hugh, shall we sleep together tonight? Why? Oh no, she hadn't even thought of a reason. If she said Master Wilbert asked her to come, that would be too socially clueless. Without Master Hugh, I can't sleep, I'll cry. The moment tears welled up. Hugh was shocked like a doll. Then she quickly ran toward the door, pulling open the door handle. Master Wilbert too. The older brother was caught off guard and exposed, just as he was about to deny it, meeting his younger brother's expectant eyes. He embarrassedly lowered his head and admitted, perhaps I'll cry too. So, let's all three sleep together. He stole a glance at his brother's reaction. Actually, Hugh understood everything in his heart. He nodded happily and emotionally. So the three of them lay down in a row. Although they successfully slept together, how could she ask about the reason he couldn't sleep? The awkward atmosphere continued. Am I overthinking this? She saw Hugh staring at her with wide eyes, his pink little face glowing with a happy smile. He turned his head and smiled at his brother too. He's really too cute. Elsa couldn't help but love him. She hugged Hugh tightly. Really? Why is Master Hugh so cute? Master Wilbert, has Master Hugh been like this since he was little? The boy answered straightforwardly, of course. Then he sat up, very seriously shouting, Hugh has been my very cute little brother since birth. Then he swiftly ran down from the bed, pulling out 6 incredibly thick albums. Precisely opening to that page, this is Hugh's first time crawling with magic, his pouty baby cheeks, those watery big eyes. I really want to pinch them. This is when Hugh first walked. This is when he ate sweet strawberry honey and sleeping, etc. A whole stack of photos. Once he started talking about these, the older brother became eloquent. Suddenly, he turned to a photo from when Hugh was just born. No matter how much Hugh cried, as soon as father held him, he'd fall asleep immediately. Speaking of this, Hugh inexplicably shed tears, sniffling as he breathed. He said guiltily, I'm sorry, it's all my fault. Mother died, and father too. I'm sorry. He covered his mouth, trying to stop himself from crying. The older brother felt terrible inside. Have you always thought it was your fault? Because after I was born, I was very willful. Who said that? Hugh, who told you that? The older brother was determined to find this person. Hugh's tears could no longer be suppressed. "No, it's my fault, so I must apologize. But I'm scared, and I can't speak." Elsa gently held his hand. "Is Master Hugh afraid others will get angry?" Hugh quickly shook his head. "I'll be hated." The older brother said bluntly not to worry about such things. Hugh did nothing wrong. Mother's body was weak, that's all. Mother was always happy about Hugh's birth, and made this doll with such a happy expression. I don't understand His Grace's feelings either. But even if the Grand Duke blames Hugh, I absolutely won't allow it. He would always stand in front of his brother. Hugh was stunned, thinking for a moment. He made up his mind. "Can you come with me to apologize, Brother Wilbert?" The three of them cried together. The older brother gave him a big bear hug. "Of course, I'm Hugh's big brother. I love Hugh the most." Hugh happily shed tears, hugging his brother tightly, burying himself in his brother's shoulder, watching this heartwarming scene. Elsa's nose turned red from crying. The next day, the three sat in a straight line. As soon as the Duke entered, the brothers stood up seriously. "Good morning. Before breakfast, Hugh and I have something to say. Please listen." The man stared at the brothers. He had finally waited for this day. Just because the boy cried, the Emperor executed his father. He apologized to his uncle for atonement. "I'm sorry. It's my fault that father hasn't come back. Long ago they were summoned to the palace, and he cried in the palace. So, it's all my fault that father, and even brother." At this moment, a phantom appeared behind him. Subconsciously using magic to recreate the scene, the Emperor threatened him never to open his mouth to speak again. "It's all your fault. Father won't come back. Say one more word, and next time I'll make your brother disappear too." The boy couldn't stop trembling. "It's all my fault." After coming to his senses, he immediately covered his mouth. This nightmare had been cycling in his mind for 4 whole years. But Rolf was absolutely certain it's not like that. He bent down to comfort Hugh, gently wiping away his tears. "You must have been in so much pain. I'm sorry, I didn't notice. You don't need to blame yourself." The brother gripped his hand. The brothers smiled at each other. "Yes, this isn't your fault." Rolf snapped his fingers. "Look, there are no monsters." The magic disappeared in an instant in his palm. As expected of His Grace the Duke, the older brother wanted to learn this too. The stepmother and Hugh also nodded. Elsa, hoping for this, is very painful. At this moment, Elsa inadvertently glimpsed Rolf's face full of self-blame and heartache. At this time, Hugh pointed toward the window in surprise. The aurora appeared. The family of 4 ran outside to admire the beautiful scenery. Hugh excitedly ran and jumped in the snow. Under God's protection, seeing this now, being able to see such beautiful scenery is God's blessing. Elsa looked up at the sky. It must be because someone made up God is rewarding them. The Duke was puzzled. She turned back with a smile. Because misunderstandings were resolved and relationships deepened, that means making up. "It's really beautiful." The next second, the ice under her feet suddenly collapsed. The children quickly used magic. Fortunately, she was caught steadily. Falling in the snow is actually quite dangerous. Elsa's face turned red. "Thank you." Seeing the Duke hadn't let go for a while, she coughed awkwardly twice. "Oh, sorry." He had received instructions that he would be arranged for marriage after the new year, but it's been delayed due to the expedition, as if they didn't want him to meet Elsa, including the entire castle receiving no news. Elsa also realized that the Grand Duke in front of her was completely different from the war-mad image in the Empire's rumors. Just now, His Majesty's tone clearly carried malice. But fortunately, the misunderstanding is resolved. It seems I need to understand more about His Majesty's intentions regarding this marriage. Let's continue this topic tonight. The man asked why. "Because before Master Hugh's stomach growls, we must have breakfast." The man watched the 3 of them playing around. Unexpectedly, at this moment, the 3 suddenly turned around. "Your Grace, you come quickly too." Rolf was stunned. The man smiled so gently for the first time. "All right." His gaze couldn't move away from that bright smile. They finally looked like a family. Within 1 month of Elsa coming to the Duke's house, she had been officially recognized as the Duchess. With the assistance of headmaid Gika, everything proceeded smoothly. But the heavy responsibility of reviewing documents also fell on her. Being depressed was useless. She could only work desperately to catch up. A small hand suddenly pressed against her face. The cold made her shiver immediately. But she was quickly warmed by Hugh's gentle smile. The maid rushed in. They just returned from their walk, and Master Hugh came to find Madame first thing. Elsa picked up some sweets. Hearing coughing sounds, she thoughtfully made honey tea. The essential afternoon tea every day was etiquette training for her, conversation training for Hugh, and for the diligent Wilbert, it became mandatory rest. "By the way, how are the preparations going?" Elsa looked blank. "What are you talking about?" The brothers' jaws dropped simultaneously. "The Grand Duke's birthday celebration." Elsa was stunned for 10 seconds. "What? My goodness, a birthday celebration, I've never heard of it." So she hurriedly ran to the Duke's office. Rolf asked what was wrong. "The birthday celebration." The man immediately became serious. "This is your first public appearance since becoming the Duchess, so it can't be taken lightly." Elsa asked nervously, "Do I have to demonstrate magic too?" The man answered yes. the host must perform magic. And not just you, the children must also make their public debut, so this banquet is also a test. A test of whether Elsa's education of the children is adequate. If it's inadequate or inappropriate behavior occurs, your rights as their educator will be revoked. Elsa boasted confidently. No matter what, I will succeed. Remember what we agreed on. Yes, I look forward to your performance. Please ask me about anything you don't understand. With less than a month until the celebration, to handle all kinds of problems, Elsa made a special schedule. Of course, the all-capable older brother also had tasks. A very important and challenging big problem, to cure the older brother's picky eating habits. Elsa and Hugh worked together inside and out. At the dining table, they sat properly. The chefs lined up neatly. Maids and butlers stood ready. The older brother faced a great ordeal. The first Wilbert young master overcoming picky eating conference now begins. First was the head chef. For healthy physical and mental growth, balanced intake of meat, vegetables, potatoes, etc. is very important. The maid presented the menu. Today's lunch, currant juice, bread, mashed potatoes, mushroom casserole, and summarized the young master's leftover situation, bread untouched, all vegetables left. The usually steady older brother panicked. By the way, Master Hugh ate everything. Hearing Elsa's praise, Hugh proudly lifted his chin. The chef continued. Winter is only half over. With limited stored ingredients, there are limited things we can make. Elsa was just worrying about what to do in the future. The Duke suddenly approached from behind her ear. Don't worry so much. Elsa's heart raced wildly. Rolf said he used to dislike vegetables too. So he completely understood the chef's extra care, and Wilbert's efforts. No need to rush. Yes, just work on it slowly. The older brother lowered his head. How did your grace become able to eat vegetables? The man took a deep breath. 11 years ago, I met a woman who ate cilantro very fragrantly. Clara, she was Wilbert's mother. She couldn't get used to the food in the Duke's territory, but she didn't dislike vegetables. Instead, she ate them with relish. Just seeing her, the meals I had grown tired of became special. Before I knew it, I could eat them too. Speaking of which, Elsa ate very fragrantly this morning too. She gave a thumbs up in praise. The food here is really delicious. The older brother had a flash of inspiration, ordering the maid to bring pickles and side dishes. Then looking at Elsa, you eat some, quickly. She picked up a piece of bread, put it in her mouth, chewing with pure bliss. Everyone was infected. The older brother began to gather strength, forking a pickle, opening his mouth wide, putting it in his mouth and taking a small bite. Everyone applauded together. The older brother chewed with a twisted expression, gulping down a large glass of water. It's not that difficult. I am the next Duke after all. But please cut the pickles smaller in the future, and it would be better mixed with other things. At this time, the head chef murmured, Lord Bert used to hate vegetables too. Back in the bedroom, Elsa was on edge. Lord Bert was the previous Duke, Rolf's deceased elder brother. Why would he say that? Talking about his brother's affairs as if they were his own, but such private matters couldn't be asked about. And there was also the previous matter between Master Hugh and His Majesty. The man had prepared materials for her, to understand the relationship between the Duke's house and the Emperor. She had to start learning from mythology. Looking through all the materials would probably take half a year. Moreover, as the Duchess, the things to consider weren't just the birthday celebration. There were also winter food supply issues, repairing magical facilities, diplomacy with affiliated countries, tributes to the Sunrai Empire, truly countless matters. So Elsa decided to tackle it all at once, doing things bit by bit. Someday, thinking about it, she closed the book. Going through the mysteries one by one won't work. I must improve efficiency. So the next day she gathered the two children to accompany her shopping. To learn about the duchy's culture, it's faster to see it firsthand. At this time Hugh tugged at her sleeve, pointing to the snow-covered treetops. This is the Snow Ridge tree, also the name of the duchy's capital. When summer comes, the capital will be submerged in Snow Ridge's white flowers. A woman stole a glance at them. The moment their eyes met, the woman was startled. Elsa greeted her very gently. Hello. Walking over to introduce herself as the Duchess. The woman backed away warily, suddenly dropping to her knees in a bow. Please forgive my rudeness. Elsa quickly helped her up. In an instant, everyone around bowed to her. Elsa felt like she was being disliked. The older brother said bluntly, You can't learn culture on the street. We are nobles and also lords, different from the people on the street. Let's go back. Staying here will cause trouble. Hearing joyful laughter, the older brother stopped in place, watching them play happily. The older brother could only watch from a distance. Hugh stretched out his little hand, shyly rubbing his clothes. Elsa saw they also wanted to join in. Then, just join in. Can you include me? I've never played in snow. This operation gave the brothers goosebumps. She rolled up a snowball and threw it at the children. The children stood there stunned. Luckily, Elsa's combat power was weak as a chicken. Several people just stood there. The children were laughing their heads off. That throw was terrible. Elsa's snowball was too loose to form properly. The red-haired child patiently taught her, then delivered a precise headshot. Seeing Elsa quickly fit in, The brothers felt admiration for the first time. She treats everyone the same. Why did I just now? At this moment, a snowball flew over, hitting the older brother squarely in the head. Elsa turned around in panic. The older brother was grinding his teeth in anger. Master Wilbert, come play too. Just as he was about to say he wasn't interested, the children mocked coldly. The young master wouldn't play with us. The older brother's anger flared, immediately retorting, "Who are you talking about?" At this time, two figures appeared behind the children. "What's going on?" Rolf inquired. "What happened to my children?" Seeing the Duke had come, the children bowed in fear. Elsa quickly appeared. "I asked them to teach me this game. I wanted to experience the culture here firsthand. For Master Wilbert and Master Hugh, it's also a good experience, right?" The older brother was shocked. "Snowball fighting?" Elsa frantically signaled to the brothers with her eyes. The two exchanged glances. Snowball fighting, that is, testing strategy in the snow, and training that simulates athletic ability. I see. Elsa had a flash of inspiration. "Why don't you join us too, Lord Rolf? If your grace personally trains them, the children would be happy too." "Yes, using training as an excuse to deepen the father-son relationship, this is a good opportunity." Rolf stole a glance at the man. "I suppose I can rest for a bit," after the guard captain joined. The Duke also had reason to participate. The snow war began. It was Elsa's snow team versus Rolf's wolf team. The rules were as follows. Capture the opponent's flag, or when the time limit ends. The side with more remaining members wins. Those hit must leave the battlefield. Magical tools and weapons are prohibited. Additionally, obstacles were set up. His Grace and the guard captain were forbidden from using their dominant hands. This way, we might be able to win. Both teams took position. The match began. The children couldn't hit the Duke. Suddenly, with a bang, the barrier in front of the boy was destroyed. Rolf was very serious. No need to hold back in simulation training. The boy's jaw dropped. "Please show mercy." The great battle was about to begin. The two fought back and forth. Hugh also threw a ball not to be outdone. At the same time, the older brother began to exert his strength. Pretty impressive. Of course, I'm the next Duke. Seeing the children having so much fun, Elsa was very pleased. Great. They seem completely familiar now. Having saved up so many snowballs, now it's up to you. But it was ultimately too late. The guard captain was out. Elsa quickly retreated, but was targeted by Rolf. The girl asked weakly, "Your Grace wouldn't really hit me, would you?" The man stared at her motionlessly. She suddenly realized, oh right, he's a war maniac, begging for mercy in simulation training. He wouldn't agree to that. In that case, the girl immediately grabbed a pile of snowballs for indiscriminate attack. Rolf was controlled by this maneuver for half a second. Unexpectedly, the girl suddenly tripped on a rock, losing her balance and falling toward the ground. Rolf immediately caught the girl, but slipped underfoot, and both fell into the snow together. The couple looked at each other. The girl's eyes widened. At this moment, the referee blew the whistle. "Your Grace was hit by a snowball. Please leave the field." Elsa quickly propped herself up. "Sorry, I didn't mean to do that." Rolf shook his hair. "It's fine. Those are the rules." The girl unexpectedly discovered that Rolf seemed different from usual. Ah, right, his hair was sticking up. Suddenly, shouts came from not far away. The two looked toward the sound, and saw a child had accidentally fallen into an ice hole. Rolf quickly activated magic. Hugh also summoned a large snow ferret, pulling the child to shore immediately. The older brother and Elsa quickly skated over. She took the boy's hand, warmth gradually seeping into the boy's hand. "Thank you." After opening his eyes, he suddenly discovered it was the Duchess. "I'm sorry for making someone like me use magic. This is natural, isn't it?" Rolf also agreed, of course. The Duke exists to protect the people. After saving the boy who had been frozen like an ice sculpture, the child's father knelt down excitedly in gratitude. At a neighbor's reminder, he learned that the woman before him was the Duchess. Elsa didn't care about these things. She held the other's hand in return. "Please call me Elsa. This is Wilbert, and this is Hugh." When introducing the Duke, Rolf straightened his hair. Elsa actively approached, warming the wet hair to make it fluffy, gently brushing the messy hair by his ear, but all the hair stood up. Elsa quickly tried to fix it, down, not knowing her husband's ears had turned red. "This is our Duke, Lord Rolf," she whispered in apology. She had wanted to help fix his hair. "But that curly-haired Lord Rolf is also very handsome." The man was stunned, his face slightly flushed. As long as it's not strange. They had never seen the Duke smile, and had always thought nobles were cold and heartless. Until this moment, they let down their guard, inviting the Duke's family to warm up. The older brother stood in the distance, silently watching them laugh, an inexplicable discomfort rising in his heart. He himself didn't understand why he had this strange feeling. That child was saved. The citizens are also happy. But why is my mood so terrible? Suddenly a cold wind blew. The scarf on his shoulder flew away with the wind, coincidentally covering a cat's eyes. Before he could react, the cat ran wildly without direction. Wilbert chased all the way, going very far. Finally, when the cat was spinning in place, Wilbert grabbed the scarf from the cat's head, but was scratched by the cat's paw. Looking at the tattered scarf, the cat had already run far away by now. He suddenly panicked, looking around at the unfamiliar environment. He stood helplessly in place. What should I do? He must be strong, must replace father and become a great duke. Only I, who knows nothing. A leaf drifted to his feet. Looking up, it was a snow ridge tree. This tree gets heavier every celebration. It's a commemorative tree. It's proof of being loved. Elsa isn't a burden. The one not needed by anyone is myself. At this moment, golden hair drifted from behind. Elsa frantically hugged the boy, crying and choking. Thank goodness. If something happened to Master Wilbert, the words in his ears became increasingly blurred. Only sentence after sentence of crying, Elsa, calm down. Rolf also rushed over. Seeing Elsa frantically shaking Wilbert, how can I calm down? After seeing that Wilbert was fine, Rolf breathed a sigh of relief. Wilbert already knows your feelings, so please calm down. Elsa sniffled, holding back tears and saying okay. The older brother lowered his head apologetically. I'm sorry for troubling you. She said it was no trouble, just some worry. If you have something you can't let go of, please tell me. Wilbert hesitated. He wasn't clear about his own feelings either. But this time, for your Grace's birthday celebration, I want to plant a snow ridge tree. Then the Duke gently placed his hand on his shoulder. Wilbert, from now on, let's create many family memories together. This was the first time His Grace had been so frank. Wilbert finally put down his so-called responsibilities, happily and blissfully agreeing yes. At this time, Hugh also brought everyone, suddenly flying up to hug his brother and cry. The next day, Elsa realized the problem. Before I knew it, I actually made Master Wilbert feel insecure. To become a stepmother, I also made my own efforts. But I'm still far from enough. I can't be a duchess like this. Then she immediately found the head maid, sincerely pleading, please take me as your apprentice. Even knowing she was of good character and very hardworking. From headmaid Geeka's standpoint, she couldn't easily trust this lady sent by the Emperor. Elsa was determined, please train me strictly and thoroughly. I was just preparing to ask His Grace to increase your salary. The household's financial management is all the lady's work. There's no need to get the master's approval for everything. Moreover, we are like the lady's hands and feet. We will follow the lady's judgment. Elsa was a bit nervous, so that means, you're willing to be my teacher, right? Geeka respectfully bowed. Please reconsider the form of address. The girl was immediately overjoyed. Thank you, teacher. Even if the lady is sincerely considering the Duke's house, to shoulder the responsibility of protecting this cursed family is still not mature enough. Perhaps this is a good opportunity to see the lady's capabilities. Soon, Geeka brought the lady to the food supply store. In Eisbelg, where winter is long, this is the most important issue. The Duke's house benefits from magic and can preserve various foods, but ordinary citizens cannot. So this castle must also prepare for when the city faces emergencies. The previous Duke, to confirm changes in storage conditions and winter problems, often concealed his identity to privately visit the city. Elsa asked curiously, why can't magical warehouses be built in the city? Geeka explained, this kind of advanced magic is difficult for commoners. But what she wanted to ask wasn't this, why can't the Duke's house build magical warehouses in the city? From a financial perspective, it's not unfeasible. After hearing this, Geeka analyzed the Duke's house's position for the lady. Here we must comply with the Empire's regulations to gain the Empire's recognition. We cannot use magic for the citizens. Protecting the Duke's house means protecting the Eisbelg territory. I heard the lady is currently studying mythology. Please understand the details from books. Geeka stole a glance at the disappointed lady, she was thinking. How could the Duke's house not have thought of this? Lady, what shall we do next? After thinking, Elsa was eager to try. I can try making preserved foods. There's already food available. As long as it doesn't require too advanced magic, perhaps it can be widely used. The first day, drying the marinated salted fish, the non-picky Hugh gave it full marks, the older brother gave it 0 points. On the second day, Elsa handed them the fermented meat. This time, even Hugh didn't dare eat it. The smell it gave off was like poison. The third day was the smoking stage. Elsa personally completed every step. The children also considerately accompanied her. After trying again and again, they finally achieved satisfactory success. Fish and chips, using magically dried cod. The brothers ate with great relish, giving it full marks without hesitation. The head chef and others all gave unanimous praise. Elsa was moved to tears. Deco also took a bite, and her face involuntarily showed surprise. It was delicious. Elsa was overjoyed. Even she could use this basic magic. As long as someone knew a little magic, they should be able to do it. This way, it shouldn't shake the Duke's family's position. Seeing the lady's series of efforts, Geeko finally smiled. If it's like this, it will definitely work. Elsa became more motivated, and she would surely be able to develop canned food next. In the afternoon, Geeko went to the Duke's office to report, and Rolf had been waiting for a long time. The couple had been single for 18 years, yet they had 2 adorable sons. Although they slept together every time, nothing ever happened. Come morning, her husband would disappear without a trace. So it was practically like sleeping alone. But today was her first report day since becoming Geeko's apprentice. She heard that Geeko had entered the master's office today with a very thick report. Elsa's hands trembled with nervousness. If she reported everything in detail to His Grace, she might forget all the bad things. Just then, there was a knock on the door. "Excuse me." Seeing the Duke arrive, Elsa stood up at a loss. "Your Grace." "Welcome." Rolf thanked her gently. Then the two of them drank tea while reporting today's achievements. She'd been researching preserved foods recently, and her studies of mythology and preparations for the birthday celebration were going smoothly too. The man nodded in acknowledgement. "You've worked hard." Elsa was somewhat surprised. "That's all? Nothing else?" "Giko should have reported to you too. Didn't she say anything?" A moment ago, Giko had indicated that she hadn't discovered any spy-like behavior from the lady. Though she had clumsy moments and shortcomings, she got along well with the servants and the people of the territory. She was considered a woman who possessed the qualities of a duchess, and the ladies should be able to give the master sufficient support. Or even more. The Duke told Elsa that she said you work very hard. Upon hearing this, the girl happily bloomed with joy. She also said you're somewhat clumsy. "But I think you really are working hard. I wish I could apply magic to society like you and my brother do." "Your brother?" The Grand Duke suddenly remembered that he had never mentioned this to her before. Elsa said it didn't matter. When people showed that expression upon mentioning the past, she didn't believe Rolf was the one who killed his brother. And all those rumors were false. She patted her chest. "Because I want to understand more about you. I'm happy to hear whatever you want to share." Then Rolf summoned his ice magic. The only magic he could use was combat magic, which couldn't help others. Elsa had a flash of inspiration. She grasped Rolf's hand. "Then let's try it together." Looking at the ice cream and shaved ice on the table, Elsa excitedly rubbed her hands together. One bite and she was completely satisfied. "This is really delicious. This is shaved ice, called Häagen-Dazs ice cream. It's the Empire's most popular dessert. Unlike dried goods, it's a high-end dessert with complex preparation procedures, and it will also be launched at the birthday celebration." Seeing the Grand Duke still looking worried, she tentatively asked, "What are you concerned about?" After further questioning, Rolf had to answer, "My relatives are a bit difficult to deal with. If the hospitality isn't good enough, many people will express dissatisfaction. Although there were reasons when we held the wedding, I wasn't able to invite my parents and relatives. So this will be your first meeting. They'll probably look at you with harsh eyes." Unexpectedly, Elsa wasn't discouraged. "Thank you for worrying about me. I'll find a way to better entertain them." Only then did Rolf show a smile. And Elsa looked at the shaved ice. "Since we made this, let's let the two young masters try it for tomorrow's afternoon tea. They'll definitely be very happy, will they?" Of course, this is a dessert made by their beloved father himself. The girl suddenly drew closer, making Rolf, who was already feeling restless, even more unbearable. "Using my magic, you can actually make gifts for the children. It's thanks to you, so you deserve a reward." Elsa said it was nothing. They were married after all, so there was no need for any repayment. "But precisely because we're married, we should have one. Brother and sister-in-law often talk about rewards and gifts, doing many things. Father would also say this to mother, then give her gifts." Elsa smiled knowingly. This is how the Grand Duke's family interacts. The slow-witted Rolf finally realized. Perhaps that's right. Elsa laughed and agreed. "How wonderful." The man looked down at the girl's smile and replied faintly, "Yes. So, is there anything you want?" Elsa couldn't think of any reward. She could only remember from childhood when she asked Marcia to hold her. The man pondered. "A hug?" Elsa was about to explain that she wasn't necessarily asking him to do this, but halfway through her words, Rolf stood up and walked to her, slowly reaching his hands behind her. Gently embracing the girl, his hair close to her ear, his fingertips tinged with a faint blush. The girl's mind went blank. The room was so quiet that only heartbeats could be heard, seeing her calling his name incoherently. The man thought he was doing something wrong, so he simply wrapped his arms around her waist and lifted her in a princess carry. "How about this?" Elsa was almost dying of embarrassment. Was he going to keep trying repeatedly until he found the right reward? The girl waved her arms helplessly. "Enough, you guessed right." Rolf breathed a sigh of relief. "Really? That's great." The moment their eyes met, Elsa couldn't help but feel her heart flutter. The man gently put her down. She hurriedly covered her wildly beating heart. That was a Grand Duke family-style reward. "Will you hug me like this when rewarding me in the future too? You clearly said not to have romantic expectations of you. So why are you doing this? Or does this mean you've accepted me, and from now on we'll act as husband and wife?" Seeing the girl's body heating up to the point of steaming, Rolf casually said, "It's getting late, let's go to sleep." Upon hearing this, Elsa froze. The man looked at her puzzled. After coming to her senses, she quickly stood up. "Yes, you're right." Until the man fell asleep, Elsa kept tossing and turning, unable to sleep. What was he thinking? She couldn't understand at all. The next morning, the butler and headmaid urgently reported. They had received notice that the master and mistress were already on their way this morning and would arrive at the mansion in the afternoon. Also, they had received orders to subjugate a bandit group, located near the border village of Droska. The scale wasn't very large, but to avoid affecting the birthday celebration, they should depart as soon as possible. This series of sudden situations left Elsa slow to react. So she confirmed with Rolf again. Today's additional emergency situations are welcoming the old master and mistress, preparing for your Grace's mission execution, entertaining the old master and mistress while your Grace is away. Rolf answered yes, however, I'm already used to preparing for mission execution, so you don't need to worry about that. What you should consider now is how to entertain the master and mistress. Then he had the butler give the prepared materials to his wife, especially their preferences and things to note. The older brother remembers that grandmother loves cod dishes. Elsa hurriedly took out her little notebook to write it down. Rolf added, ever since she took a fall, the doctor told her to control her diet. The climate and food here would put a considerable burden on her body, which is why they went to warmer places for recuperation. Elsa raised a question, but what exactly are you doing right now, Your Grace? I'm preparing for the mission execution, but there's too much luggage, and some strange things too. Rolf explained that if they took the main road, they would be discovered by the bandits, and using flashy magic wouldn't work either. So they adopted primitive methods, taking paths where no one goes. As for accommodation, they could only camp. Even in such deep winter, they worked for the people, and couldn't use the reserve food from villages along the way. Elsa felt a pang of heartache. Such a gentle person was called a war maniac and was being used by others. Although there were many things she didn't know about behind the scenes, no matter what the reasons, treating him this way was too unreasonable. Your Grace has always been protecting the people of the territory alone, and this family and the children too. But I, without knowing anything, said unreasonable things. I'm sorry. Please focus on your mission with your subordinates. Leave the master and mistress to us. The older brother and Hugh both expressed that they would fully support Elsa. The butler and headmaid also nodded together. The man felt relieved. Then I'll leave it to you all. Soon everyone was preparing. Elsa had just finished preparing the meal when she saw Hugh standing at the door, seemingly waiting for her. What's wrong? Hugh whispered in her ear. I have a request. Not long after, the carriage arrived at the mansion. Everyone stood at the door to welcome them. Welcome home, distinguished ones. Rival in love comes to pick a fight, but she's too lazy to make a move. The confidence given by her husband and children allows her to say at any time that she is the Grand Duke's wife. Even when meeting her in-laws, Rolf tightly held his wife's hand, standing in front of her. Welcome home, the girl then curtsied. Nice to meet you for the first time. I am Lord Rolf's wife, Elsa. The in-laws stared at her for a long time. Then the two sons stepped forward, bowing simultaneously. Grandfather, grandmother, it's been a long time. Hugh ran up to grandmother, holding a letter in his small hands. Grandmother took it, opened it to see a cute greeting card full of sincere feelings. Grandmother smiled knowingly. The two little ones looked up expectantly, and she gently hugged the children. What a wonderful gift, thank you, Elsa explained for the Grand Duke. Young Master Hugh said he wanted to welcome the master and mistress with a gift, so he decided to hold a simple welcome banquet. This is the invitation. After speaking, she moved closer. This is for your Grace, a sun amulet. I made it together with the children. It's a bit rough due to time constraints, but it's filled with lots of good wishes and protective magic. She had also prepared delicious dried goods, and wanted to say some words wishing him a safe journey. Rolf directly took her hand and stared silently into her eyes. The two looked at each other, and just as Rolf was about to say something, he heard his mother behind him calling him to talk. A maid suddenly appeared to block the old lady, and the children urgently reminded them to go inside quickly. She had to withdraw her hand. We'll go in first. Stay safe, have a smooth journey. Elsa bowed and took her leave, leaving them time to catch up. Before leaving, Rolf still stared at his nervous wife. That hand was trembling. On the way back, Elsa couldn't help but be curious. What was your Grace trying to do just now? At this time, Hugh took her hand. Took a deep breath. My heart is beating so fast. Elsa was equally nervous, but the beginning wasn't bad. Upon entering, a red-haired woman was eating pastries with big bites, with only crumbs left on the plate. She turned around and spoke. Haven't seen you before. Who are you? Elsa was also stunned. I was about to ask who you are. The older brother looked disgusted. Why are you here uninvited again? The woman didn't care. It seems quite lively today. The older brother tried to drive her away again. His Grace isn't here. Go back quickly. The blatant malice made her somewhat displeased. They were all relatives. Wasn't it too much to speak like this? I knew it. You're lying again, trying to ruin my relationship with Rhodey. We swore to get married. Why are you trying to separate us? Elsa's pupils constricted in shock. Rhodey, could that be Lord Rolf's nickname? At this time, the in-laws came in. Miss Edna is here too. The woman instantly changed her expression. Long time no see. Lord Stephen, Lady Evelina, watching them get along harmoniously. Elsa asked herself why she had never thought that Rolf might have someone he liked. Edna asked the old lady, who is that lady? The old man explained, she's Rolf's wife, previously arranged by the Emperor's decree. Elsa introduced herself proactively. But Edna pushed further. Oh my, this woman is the Empire's spy. Elsa denied it wasn't true, but Edna became even more presumptuous. A woman like you doesn't deserve the Grand Duke's family. If you cared even a little for the Grand Duke's family, you should hide yourself. The older brother immediately stood in front of his stepmother. Elsa is a member of the Grand Duke's family. She's family? The girl was so moved that tears almost overflowed. Hugh also gripped her hand tightly, nodding vigorously in agreement. The butler and maids also nodded unanimously. This surprised all three of them, not expecting her to win over the hearts of the Grand Duke's household so quickly. Let me reintroduce myself. I am Elsa, who married into the Eisbel Grand Duke family. Yes, I naturally don't know about your Grace's past and feelings, but regarding your Grace's matters, I can just ask him directly. There's no need to worry about such things. I want to know what kind of woman would be worthy of the Grand Duke's family. I just need to keep doing what I should do as the Grand Duke's wife. Idna was momentarily speechless. Seeing her eager-to-learn expression, the woman suddenly became angry. Do you take me for a fool? The old lady interrupted. Oh my, then let me teach you. The rival fell silent, just smiling maliciously. She thought the mistress would make things difficult for her. But unexpectedly, she accepted this daughter-in-law. The mother-in-law decided to start teaching Elsa bridal courses after the welcome party ended. Idna was furious, and quickly raised her hand to participate. Challenging her, "Imperial woman, I'll show you. What conduct befits the Grand Duke's family?" But these words seemed to fall on deaf ears as Elsa said, I look forward to it. The woman thought she was crazy. Such a fool was actually Rhodey's wife. She would never agree, and would drive her out no matter what. In piano class, Elsa's playing made the older brother suffer greatly. When singing, Hugh was also scared to tears. The rhythm was wrong and she was off-key. Dancing was like wrestling. Idna couldn't stand it anymore. She's clearly a duke's daughter. How can she be so terrible at everything? Sending such a waste shows they looked down on the Grand Duke's family. Elsa clenched her fist in agreement. You're right. The woman was startled. How can even you agree? Elsa frankly admitted, because I'm indeed not good at these things. The Empire was indeed very excessive. The mother-in-law spoke. The Empire's music is somewhat different from here. Elsa should start learning slowly from the basics. Together with Hugh. The girl excitedly answered yes. Then the mistress warned Idna, you still haven't changed what I reminded you about before. The woman hung her head dejectedly. I'm very sorry. Who knew Elsa would suddenly stand up? But Miss Idna's dancing is very elegant and beautiful. Even as a woman, I was captivated. Idna was instantly flushed from the praise. Praising me won't help. Do you think you can make us lower our guard by playing dumb? You can't fool me. No matter who this woman is, outsiders cannot marry into the Grand Duke's family. The only one who can stay by Rhodey's side is me, who belongs to the Grand Duke's family. Over the next few days, Elsa learned together with Hugh. However, today, the mother-in-law planned to teach her lace knitting. Unexpectedly, Elsa had exceptional talent in this area. This made people curious. Have you learned this pattern's knitting method before? Elsa avoided the question, casually saying she saw it in a book. Then the mistress looked at Idna, only to see her needlework was messy. The woman shamefully covered her lace. For women of the Grand Duke's family, knowing needlework is especially important. This is a skill to protect the men fighting desperately on the front lines. I've taught you many times since you were small. The woman deeply bowed her head, saying sorry. Elsa smiled encouragingly. How about trying to knit lace with small flower patterns? But Idna threw her needlework at her. Shut up! What are you doing? Are you so happy to make me look like a fool? Elsa explained it wasn't so. She just felt very happy today. I'm ashamed to say, although I was born into a duke's family, I didn't have the opportunity to learn etiquette and culture, nor did I attend social occasions. So I'm just happy to be able to attend classes. Moreover, I haven't really talked much with girls my age either, so this is what having female friends feels like. Without realizing it, I forgot the purpose of the classes. I'm sorry. Idna suddenly covered her mouth. Embarrassed yet domineering, don't apologize. The mistress smiled at this scene. Female friends? How nice. Well then, we can't avoid talking about romance now. The mistress smiled mischievously and issued an eviction order to the two brothers who had just entered. Sorry, from now on, men are forbidden to enter. Go find grandfather. Come on, let's start our pleasant chat. But this isn't enough yet. Just snapping her fingers, the maids appeared instantly. With the mistress's command, the room was decorated to sparkle. The most beautiful room, the most delicious cuisine, the most wonderful magic, and the most interesting romance topics. It's perfect. Elsa was sweating profusely, saying she had no experience at all. What type of person does Miss Elsa like? Thick eyebrows and big eyes, delicate features, gentle, strong, muscular type, intelligent type. So, what do you think Rolf is like? Elsa nervously swallowed. She recalled her past interactions with the Grand Duke, the warm scenes when he was with the children, and the sudden hug. Elsa immediately blushed and steamed up. I'm not sure. Idna smiled smugly. The mistress continued asking, is it because you just got married recently? She shook her head. Lord Rolf is too busy. We indeed haven't spent much time together, but every day there are new discoveries. Before, Rolf's hair was sticking up. When he noticed, his reaction was as cute as young Master Hugh's. The mistress finally understood why her son opened his heart to her. You observe very carefully. Edna disagreed. If you put it that way, Rhodey has opened his heart to me too. We've been able to exchange opinions freely since long ago. I've long known his hair is curly and our hobbies are completely the same. The mistress agreed. Yes, you both love sweets very much and often quarrel like cats. Elsa was very surprised. The Grand Duke likes sweets? Edna said that's right, although he also likes fruit. What he loves most is sweet chocolate. The girl couldn't understand. But why doesn't he eat them now? Edna expressed her confusion. You don't even know this. Rhodey really needs a clumsy imperial woman. Rather than fairy tale sweet romance, the mistress spoke meaningfully. Sweet romance? The Grand Duke indeed doesn't need that. So I think Miss Elsa can become a virtuous wife and good mother for the Grand Duke's family. You don't love Rolf, do you? Such a love story, if it could bear fruit, would be fine. But in reality, love often causes trouble. You're simple and hardworking, yet not troubled by love, which is very charming. Elsa understood in her heart that she indeed didn't love the Grand Duke. But the more she understood him, the more she could discover Rolf's merits. I want to understand him more. Even if I'm not worthy of being the Grand Duke's wife, Edna snorted. As for Rhodey, even if his wife is useless, he's undoubtedly the perfect Grand Duke. Who would have expected Elsa to suddenly cover her hand, lean in close to her face excitedly and say, Right, Lord Rolf is really amazing. She went on about a bunch of admirable deeds. Edna was no longer being tsundere, gripping her hand, that's right. But what you know isn't enough. Watching the two of them chat so harmoniously, the mistress smiled with relief. You don't have to bear everything alone anymore, do you, Rolf? Little did she know that Elsa's words were all heard by Rolf outside the door. When the tea was finished, Elsa got up to open the door. By the time Rolf realized it was too late. The moment the girl turned her head, she saw him appearing in front of her with a red face, staring at the Duke's slightly red face. She immediately realized, You didn't hear everything, did you? Rolf's ears were burning, stubbornly saying no, but he definitely heard it. Mother called Rolf from behind. Hearing the commotion, Edna immediately squeezed over. Rhodey, you're finally back! Elsa in the corner was frantically recalling, It's okay. Those were all sincere compliments about him. It doesn't matter if he heard, but she was still so embarrassed. Edna wanted to create an opportunity to be alone with Rolf, but was rejected by him. Sorry, let's talk later. He turned to call Elsa. Madam, I need to write a report to submit to the Emperor now. Can you compile the report for the time I was away tonight? Elsa was about to refuse, but suddenly met the Grand Duke's eyes. Remembering what he had said, Please don't expect me to love you. It was like a thorn piercing her heart. She gripped her wrist tightly. No problem. I'll have the materials summarized before tonight. She turned to bow farewell to the two beautiful ladies. She had to become a member of this family and must properly follow the rules here. Please wait, is something wrong with Lord Rolf? He introduced, his large hand holding her waist. This is my wife, Elsa. I'm often away from home due to work. Please help her as a member of the Grand Duke's family. Edna gripped her own arm tightly. Rhodey, is Elsa really okay? The Grand Duke said firmly, She is my wife. Then you should have introduced her earlier. Edna's eyes seemed to be tearing up. We're family, right? Elsa excitedly sparkled. That means Edna and I are family too. The Grand Duke's mother looked at her son. During the time she wasn't home, Rolf really became more and more like Bert. He looked up at his mother. Thank you, mother. That evening, Elsa excitedly showed Rolf the ballroom dancing she had newly learned. It seems I worried for nothing. So your Grace's work ended smoothly? Then the atmosphere fell into silence. And then? Is that all? Oh right, the dried goods. The soldiers liked them very much. That's good. Then silence again. Elsa was anxiously overthinking beside him. There should be more, right? There should be many other things. Turning her head, she noticed the Grand Duke's hair was particularly smooth today. Lord Rolf, did you take a bath? Yes, I did. Suddenly he thought of something and immediately stood up. I'm very sorry, do I still smell? I'll sleep in another room tonight. Elsa immediately rushed over to grab his arm. No, it's because the Grand Duke's hair became especially smooth after bathing, as if it was specially combed. I've already warmed the bed. Please don't mind me and rest first. Rolf looked at Elsa tenderly. Then let's have a warm drink before resting. Elsa quickly stood up. I'll prepare it. Thank you. Then coffee, please. She suddenly thought of something and smiled in response. Rolf looked at the neatly arranged bedding. His ideal wife would just handle work matters indifferently. Although he didn't need to be wary of his wife, she was meddlesome and clumsy. Completely opposite to his ideal type. He gently played with his hair, then messed it up. Sorry for the wait. The aroma of hot cocoa came from afar. Rolf didn't understand why. Because Lord Rolf likes it, she shouted very loudly. So I really wanted to drink hot cocoa. I wanted to know what your favorite hot cocoa tastes like. He looked at the drink on the plate. I like coffee. Elsa didn't understand. Then why do you always drink hot cocoa? Although the head chef's voice was very small, she definitely wouldn't have heard wrong. Lord Bert also used to like beer and coffee, and didn't like vegetables. Why would Rolf lie? The atmosphere in the room fell silent for a while, until the hot cocoa became cold cocoa. Wait, let me heat it up again. She turned and handed it to Rolf. He finally drank this cup of warm hot cocoa, so sweet. Is it too sweet? No, it's delicious. I used to drink sweeter ones. I would add lots of fresh milk and honey, then season it with spices. The studious Elsa had already taken notes. This just has a bit more refreshing fragrance. To warm the body, I added some orange and rum. This combination is very much like Elsa's flavor. What does that flavor feel like? Very energetic, warm. Then I'll break convention. Rolf couldn't help but take another sip. I like it. Elsa's face instantly exploded red. She hurriedly tried to make him another cup. But when busy, mistakes are easy to make. Her feet slipped, and she fell into the Grand Duke's warm, strong embrace. Her heart couldn't help but race. Even the cocoa was enchanted. It would be bad if you got burned, and this is the cocoa you made for me. He broke off the tip of the chocolate and put it in his mouth. It's delicious even when cold. Elsa's head was steaming. If we sleep too late, we won't be able to get up tomorrow. Let's rest after drinking. Elsa nodded with a red face. She was still thinking about how she could fall asleep after so much happened. But the next moment, she closed her eyes and fell fast asleep. Even while sleeping, she mumbled Rolf's name. The Grand Duke turned to look at his wife beside him, gently covering her with the blanket. He remembered the afternoon's conversation. Lord Rolf is really amazing. Then he turned over to sleep with a red face. When Elsa woke up in the morning, she looked haggard. She pinched her face to force herself to perk up. Wait, Elsa! Idna smiled mischievously. You're not planning to use this in the main hall, are you? That goes in the entrance hall. If you add this here and that there, wouldn't this be perfect? Elsa excitedly held the freshly made decoration, as expected of Miss Idna. She proudly waved the small fan in her hand. For this celebration, Hugh has been working hard to speak properly, and the older brother has been trying hard to eat vegetables. Speaking of which, how's your preparation for the most important welcome performance? I don't think I've actually seen your magic yet. Elsa was sweating profusely. Idna narrowed her eyes. You can do it, right? Elsa remained silent, just taking out magic enhancement potion, drinking it in big gulps. Using all her strength, she only managed a little sparkle. No way. I really tried my best. We knew this would happen. I've already thought of a brilliant plan for you. The day before the birthday celebration, to help Elsa enhance her magic power, the older brother and Hugh had a brilliant plan, titled Cramming at the Last Minute. From the head chef to the maids, everyone gathered here. The older brother transformed into a little teacher, telling her to stretch out her hand. Suddenly the next second, a huge flame ignited in her palm. Little did they know the head chef was secretly exerting power from the side. We'll have everyone use magic so that visually it looks like Elsa's magic. The older brother's expression was stiff. This is the only way. Elsa couldn't believe it, so we're going to deceive people? But this will be exposed very quickly. Idna agreed. Yes, no kidding. It really will be exposed. Do that motion again. Unfortunately, this time the flame fell directly from her palm. See, even the magic usage posture is clumsy. The children were severely discouraged. Moreover, the magic nobles excel at is concealment magic, completely different from the life magic servants use. The older brother cried about what to do. The scene fell into confusion for a while. She had been trying hard since childhood, but no matter what, she couldn't learn magic. She had also received invitations to banquets before and had asked her stepmother to let her attend. But her sister mocked coldly from the side. As long as you can learn magic, I'll let you go, right, mother? That's right, as long as you can learn it. For the next every day, whether walking, eating, or even sleeping, she kept practicing hard. Finally, until one day, little sparkles appeared in her hands. I did it! She happily went to show her mother. Her stepmother's face first showed shock, then instantly turned to disgust. Sister actually knows such vulgar magic. I'm so ashamed I want to die. Poor Karen, I will never let you feel ashamed. The maids laughed at her without concealment. Elsa stood dejectedly by the window, watching the carriage about to depart for the banquet, her heart tormented and dejected. Now she couldn't give up even more. Please let me see everyone's magic and let me practice for a while longer. Everyone suddenly teleported, as if they had been waiting for her to say this. The little flowers falling from the sky were really beautiful, and there was the head chef's perfect posture, and Idna's gorgeous gems. After everything ended, she slumped exhausted on the sofa. Idna couldn't help but complain, already out of energy. Your stamina is too poor. There's no helping it. Elsa is very bad at magic. Although the older brother meant to speak up for Elsa, it made her feel somewhat guilty. I forced everyone to practice with me, but I made no progress at all. I'm sorry, no need to apologize. Elsa is our family member. Helping you is natural. You always say that. After speaking, the older brother embarrassedly turned away. Everyone nodded in agreement. Elsa stood there somewhat bewildered. Hugh patted her hand. It's not a waste of time. Thanks to Elsa, I learned many things. Remembering her childhood self hiding alone in corners, she was so grateful and happy. The girl hugged Hugh back. Thank you. They opened their arms, the older brother. Come for a hug too. I really can't handle you two. Although we can't see obvious progress now, continued effort will definitely not be wasted. Elsa suddenly thought of something. That's right. There will definitely be things that only she can do in the future. Late at night, since the birthday celebration was the next day, Elsa was too nervous to sleep. She might as well consolidate her dancing practice. Just as she stretched out her hand, she noticed a black shadow behind her. Lady, it's so late. What are you doing? She happily turned around. I'm practicing dancing. Suddenly thinking of something, she immediately became flustered. I'm definitely not doing spy activities. Rolf indicated that wasn't his meaning. If you're preparing for tomorrow, you should rest now. Can't you sleep? Elsa gripped her hands tightly. I just feel uneasy somehow. For dance practice, you need a partner. I'll help you. Elsa was about to speak, but the Grand Duke didn't give her a chance to refuse. After all, I am your husband. The girl's heart immediately started pounding. Then I'll trouble you. The man embraced her slender waist. Gliding with the melody, he patiently guided his wife step by step. Even when his wife couldn't control her movements and swayed around, he would timely embrace her waist. The girl blushed. I'm sorry, I tried my best not to step on your feet. The man said, It's fine. That's exactly why we need to practice. Your Highness, you dance very well too. I don't dislike physical activity, and Idina often makes me practice dancing with her. Elsa felt a ripple in her heart. Early the next morning, they began dressing up. By the way, Elsa, you don't love Rhodey, do you? She immediately became sensitive. Don't worry, I don't love Rhodey either. After all, we belong to the same Grand Duke family and are of the same generation. The Grand Duke family is rather special anyway. Could it be that you're wary of me? Elsa denied it. If I said I completely don't care, that would be a lie, but it's not wariness either. What is love? Idna stood there stunned. You don't even know this, yet you dare to contradict Lady Evelina? Idna trembled with anger and couldn't help but strike her a few times. Fool, don't ask me about such things. As a child, Elsa vaguely longed for family and love. Perhaps because of this, when others told her, don't expect romance, you don't need love, she would feel a little lonely. But ever since coming to the Grand Duke's house, she truly felt happy every day. She didn't want to destroy this happiness, so she wanted even more to become a qualified Grand Duchess. Even without love, reflecting on the previous night, thanks to your grace, I've improved quite a bit, Rolf smiled unconsciously. That's good. Lord Rolf is truly amazing. I originally thought you were scary, but you're both gentle and capable. The most wonderful Grand Duke. The Grand Duke suddenly raised his arm, and her shawl quietly slipped off. Sorry, are you all right? Seeing the change in the Grand Duke's expression, Elsa remembered that day, then seriously straightened her face to explain. The sweet words she and Idna had excitedly spoken. Please rest assured. Those weren't feelings of admiration. Rolf looked stunned, his expression becoming profound for a moment. Is that so? He bent down to pick up the shawl, and draped it over his wife. Elsa smiled brightly. Thank you, you're too kind. The midnight bells chimed, and the two planned to return to their respective rooms to rest. Well then, good night. Yes, good night. As they prepared to leave, Elsa suddenly turned around. Please wait, gently embracing Rolf's arm. The bells just chimed, didn't they? Lord Rolf, happy birthday. And at this moment, Rolf could no longer suppress his racing heart.